Welcome, friends and neighbors, to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us. Close to home this week, a changing of the guard at the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Take a look.
It's been an honor to serve alongside so many of the people here tonight in a community that has always expected and supported excellence.
It's the end of the road for longtime Fire Chief Greg Flynn, who has spent 28 years of his career in West Bloomfield. Not a retirement, but as he called it, a rewirement, shifting gears where he can serve even more people, just as he served Greater West Bloomfield. At the final board meeting of his career, those he has served for nearly 3 decades saying farewell, and an emphatic, emotional thank you.
I want to personally thank you for everything you and your crew, everybody, did for me, my wife, during a time when we needed you. That meant more than words can say.
Servant leadership is that practice of putting everyone first.
Greg Flynn put fires out, but he also volunteers his time for the benefit of the community. And it comes all the way from Grosse Pointe. Never missed a meeting. Always the first guy to volunteer for everything.
Members of the Township Board, including retired Police Chief Michael Patton, affirming a choice 11 years ago. They knew they found their chief. Today, they believe they may have found one of the best to ever do the job.
Need to always understand that the impact you had on just not only the men and women that you led here, but on everyone else in this community. You were a core person. So many people knew who their fire chief was more than sometimes even their elected officials.
It's an honor for me to be here tonight to thank you for everything you've done. You made my job, trustee, an easy one. And that says everything about the kind of man and leader you are.
I have learned so much from watching your leadership, from your ability to keep a meeting focused on substance, to hiring kindness, because you can teach somebody to be a firefighter, but you can't teach them to be kind.
All that was left was to open the circuit leading to rewirement with a goodbye, closing a chapter that began in March of 1998 and cementing a legacy that will last forever.
Thank you for allowing me 15 to 25 minutes to share my remarks with you. The greatest privilege of this career has been the relationships, and those relationships will stay with me long after leaving this position. For nearly 3 decades, I've had the pleasure of being part of something much bigger than myself. I've watched neighbors help neighbors. I've watched businesses support important causes, volunteers step forward when needed. Those experiences have reinforced my belief in what West Bloomfield truly is and what makes it truly a special place. People over the past few weeks have often asked, what am I most proud of in the time serving with the WBFD? And it's not a building project. It's not a budget accomplishment. It's not a piece of apparatus or a program that was developed. It's the people that made all of those things happen.
In West Bloomfield Township, Tyler Kieft, Civic Center TV.
A fitting end to a 28-year journey at the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Friday this week, the official turnover of the chief's badge from Greg Flynn to Mark Lowry. You can keep up to date with the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Visit them on Facebook at WB Fire Department, or follow along with more information from West Bloomfield Township on wbtownship.org. To see that full meeting from Monday's West Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees meeting, you can find that on demand on civiccentertv.com. Plenty more of these comments. You'll also see the swearing in of Chief Mark Lowry and Deputy Chief Blake Belsky as well. With summer vacation underway, the end of an era is here in the West Bloomfield School District. With Chico Elementary construction near complete, Doherty is now on the clock for its own demolition and rebuild. We sent Jake Schaff out to get one last look back at all the fond memories.
Doherty Elementary School has been a mainstay here in West Bloomfield for nearly the past 60 years. And just recently, former students, former teachers, even some former principals got to walk the halls of Doherty one final time, as the old Doherty Elementary School building is set to be torn down, with a new Doherty school set to be built in its stead. I got a chance to speak with several people who shared their memories of Doherty and what this school truly meant to Greater West Bloomfield.
It's very nostalgic, obviously, for a lot of people that are here tonight. We didn't really know what to expect for this event, and to see, I mean, we're north of 100, 150 people, to see and hear about a lot of the connections to the past and the history of the place. So it's a little bittersweet. It's the end, obviously, of one chapter, and we're excited about, you know, the renderings and design for the new building. We're ready for the next chapter, but to be able to kind of celebrate this culminating event with all these Doherty members from the past is a pretty cool event. It is very nostalgic to see some staff members that have been here since the mid-90s, to see the connections. It's been really cool. So yeah, nostalgic, bittersweet, but also we're ready for that next chapter.
You were part of the original Doherty Elementary School class. I mean, what does it mean to you to step back into this building one more time all these years later and just reflect on the amount of history that's come from a building like this?
Are you kidding me? I just ran into my original principal of the school, and we had a nice chat. He's a wonderful man, and we traded some pretty good stories. It was great.
I'm just filled with joy. I have not been in this building since I was a sixth grader. So it truly brought back wonderful memories, because it was a great time to grow up, you know, as a kid in this area. There was so much support from the teachers, everybody at the school, and all the parents too. I mean, I was a Girl Scout, you know, there were all these other programs. So sixth grade camp was a popular thing where we went for a whole week away from our families, and that was fun. So, no, I'm filled with joy and a little sadness, but you know, I'm also a bit of a builder, so it's time.
What is it like to see the school still have such a lasting impact to this day?
It's amazing. I mean, in this day and time when schools are kind of under attack, we still have schools that are effective, and kids have a place to go that they can be successful. It kind of means that this community has grown a lot of very talented young people because of the efforts of those teachers and parents. Parents had a big impact on every one of the schools I was in. Without parent input and parent participation, school's just ordinary.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing whatever we can to make sure we're doing what's best for kids. What I would like to continue from this is that sense of community. It's going to be a new space. It's going to be state of the art. But I think a lot of what roots us here is that Doherty community are things that we can bring with us, because that's the people, it's the connections, it's the relationships. So those would be some pieces that we hope to bring over as we start that next chapter.
There's always something about your old elementary school, walking down the hallways again as an adult and truly reflecting on how far you've come and how far the school has come in this time. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to the old Doherty Elementary School, but we look forward to what this new school is going to be providing and all of the kids it's going to be helping in the future. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
More info is available on the Doherty rebuild on WBSD.org. You can also follow the school district for more updates as the construction goes on, and for the latest on Chico Elementary as the final touches are put on that building. And they start moving in over the next several weeks as we head toward the latter half of the summer and get that much closer to the school year beginning for 2026-2027. Find all that on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. Summer fun for everyone. That is the aim of JARC as they prepared to host a day chock full of games, music, art, and more that is inclusive for people of all kinds of abilities. I was joined here on The Splash Live by Shandel Bronstein, the CEO of JARC, to learn more about their upcoming JARC Fun Village. Here's a look. Shandel, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this. It's a really fun event that's going to get a lot of people out to the J, Detroit, formerly known as the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit, a place where so many people do go for recreation. But in this case, it's going to bring all different kinds of people, all different kinds of with all different kinds of abilities together for a really inclusive day of fun. Break that down for us. What can we expect, and what are the basic details of this event?
Okay, so absolutely. First of all, and I'm glad you have it up on the screen, June 28th. And I think you mentioned a lot of people are familiar with the J, right? West Bloomfield, right at Maple and Drake. But our hope is that we're going to transform the J for Fun Village. So Fun Village has a dance hall, right? Has an art studio, has an arcade, has food and fun and lots of activities. And most of all, Jark Fun Village also has a place where you can decompress, right? A sensory friendly space. The noise is a lot. I need to take a break and then I'm ready to go out into the fun. But we're really looking to take the J and turn it into the best day that anybody could ever have, and have that be focused on all the cool things that we get to do at Jark all the time.
And what's great about this, too, is it highlights providing inclusive environments for people with disabilities, but also what's even more important is having an inclusive environment like this that does have elements of fun, elements of relaxation, getting away from the action also, all included, is it shows the variety of different ways of life that we all have. And that, I would imagine, creates a much broader vision of what it means to have a so-called disability versus being so-called normative.
Absolutely. And I think that spectrum is really important, because think about any of us. You know, we're having a great day. Maybe we're at a great concert and the music is fabulous and it's loud. And we think, gosh, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to go someplace quiet right now and take a break from all this noise? And someone might say, oh, okay, well, you know, that's normal. And I think it's really, as you said, defining normal is what a person needs, right? And being able to accommodate every person's needs is what makes this truly an inclusive event. So again, it's not about taking it for one specific person and saying this is something that you need that is outside of scope, but really saying, what can we do for you, for all of us as individuals, to make sure that our personal needs, regardless of what they are met and accommodated.
And so much of this, too, is much like a school teacher tries to devise a lesson plan that gets people learning while also having a little bit of fun, so it doesn't seem like it's work. A lot of that's also being employed into this. How do these games, these activities, these other events happening in the Jark Fun Village, how will those help to encourage growth and also social interaction between those attending?
Right. So first of all, I think a lot of times, unfortunately, a person with a disability might feel that's not for me, and they might self-select out. And you can think again, you know, of an environment that may not be designed to accommodate someone as well as this is, and they may think that game looks like a ton of fun. That's an arcade game that I've seen. That's a carnival game that I've seen. I'm not going to be able to do that. So imagine if not only is it set so that if you're in a wheelchair, you can pull right up, right? But set so that you can, and the sense of confidence that you're going to feel when you find that you did have the ability to play that game, or really just the sense of self of, gosh, everything here looks fun, and I know that I can join into everything, and I'm just one of the people, one of the group participating in this event, and that builds, again, that confidence. And through that interaction, you're finding, oh, people are happy to see me. People are happy to play this game with me. People are happy to build this with me. That's going to build your confidence and socialization. And that's going to encourage you to step out of your shell a little bit more and really encourage that I can do this, rather than self-selecting out and saying, this isn't for me. This isn't something I can do.
Sounds like a little bit of fun for everyone. So if you want to attend, you can do so right now. Registration's open. Join them on jark.org/fun. That easy. JARC.org/fun to register and join them at the J, Detroit, on June 28th. The CEO of Jark is with us on the Splash Live today. Shandel Bronstein joins us on the program to talk about Jark's Fun Village. And there's so much to attract people to this event, so many different tastes and different ideas of what fun is, but also some unique gatherings as well. A pretty good get. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra is going to participate in this event. Tell us how they're participating and how that relationship grew with Jark.
Yes. So actually, I would say the symphony is the earliest relationship that we've had in regards to our Ellen Labus Summer Festival series. And Fun Village is one event of our festival series that began actually as the single event of the Ellen Labus Evening with the Symphony. And the Detroit Symphony Orchestra came and did a private concert and continues every year to do a private concert with the people that JARC serves. And the goal was to make people understand that music is for everyone, that classical music doesn't have to be just in a super quiet room that may or may not allow for breaks, that may have sounds that are loud and booming and could feel harsh to me, but that classical music is for everyone to enjoy. And as a part of that, the musicians bring their instruments and our persons served are able to try them out, to touch them, to feel the strings right on a violin, to play with an instrument and say, that's an interesting sound that makes, and really understand how all of those instruments work together to form a symphony. So we thought, we don't want for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra to be the best kept secret in town. We want to make sure that we share that with everyone and that every participant, again, young or old, right, regardless of your needs, has an opportunity to really explore the music of our symphony and to get to know the musicians and to get to know the instruments. So we're so excited to share that with everyone and so thrilled that everyone will learn about the important work that the symphony is doing.
Yeah, we got that graphic up on the screen, Calvin. Let's leave that there so that people can take another look at this and explore. I'm going to look down at my screen a little easier to read for someone as nearsighted as this guy is. June 28th, 12 noon to 3 p.m. at the J in West Bloomfield. That is just off of Drake Road and Maple. Plenty of fun. There's going to be free snacks, kosher food for purchase, inflatables, big games, an art studio, a dance club with so much music, and then the JARCade with a game hall and instruments that you can play alongside the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Again, registration is open. JARC.org/fun is the place to go for more information and to register. JARC.org/fun. And Shane, going back to devising this event before we can even really, as we have, dissect the specifics of it, where did the inspiration come to build the JARC Fun Village? That's now going to be at the J coming up very soon.
It's a great question, and a piece of it, interestingly, has been a bit of the unpredictability of our Michigan weather. So JARC Fun Village is actually a new name for an event that we've been running for 3 years, and that event was JARC Carnival, and that was an event, again, same concept. Let's have an incredible day of fun. Let's make sure that it's inclusive for everybody. You know, let's make sure that the stars of the day are the persons with disabilities and their caregivers. And we had more of a midway experience, again, all outdoors. And the first year we had our event at the end of the summer, and it was in the high 90s and very humid. And we thought, okay, let's have our event outdoors, maybe closer to the beginning of the summer. So last year we had our event in June, and it was 100 degrees outside. And I think a lot of people, as much as they enjoyed the midway, spent a lot of time indoors in a cooling space. And as for a person who was working with my team outdoors for the whole day, it definitely was a little much on the heat side. So we brainstormed and said, we don't want to give this up because people have such a great time. But what if we could take all of the great elements of JARC Carnival and incorporate it into something that can be accommodated rain or shine, 70 degrees or 100 degrees or anything in between. And we really took that and morphed it into JARC Village, which let us add some of the components like the symphony, where people could not only, again, enjoy the day, but get a sense of what our people have an opportunity to enjoy throughout the year.
And it's for individuals, it's for families, it's for people with and without disabilities.
Absolutely.
Anybody can come to JARC Village. That's what makes this even more unique, is there is quite literally fun for everyone. Shandel, before we let you go, got a minute left. For people all across that spectrum we discussed, why should they consider attending the JARC Fun Village?
So first of all, it's going to be a great day out, right? Second of all, this is something, again, that is designed to meet everybody's needs. So regardless of your need for an accommodation, we want to be able to meet that. So think of this as an amazing day that is both community-based and personalized. And I want to remind everyone, again, it's a very low cost of attendance for any family or any individual, but if you are a person with a disability or a caregiver of a person with a disability, your attendance is free. You are our guests. This day is really about you as the stars and about our community coming together to celebrate the diversity that really makes us all who we are.
A great opportunity for some fun and to create an inclusive environment close to home right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Shandell Bronstein with us, the CEO of JARC on the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
It's going to be a very fun day out at the J here in West Bloomfield. You can attend by registering right now on jarc.org/fun. That's JARC.org/fun. One of the prettiest little city in Michigan's favorite summer traditions is back for a celebration of a major milestone as the historic Oakland County Boat Club makes its final preparations for the annual fireworks at dusk on July 3rd as we celebrate America 250 close to home here in Greater West Bloomfield. Joining us with an inside look is Tim Harris, the Commodore at Oakland County Boat Club. Mr. Harris, thanks for coming on the show.
Hello, how you doing out there?
Doing fantastic, as is the city of Sylvan Lake, as they're very excited every single year for this fantastic fireworks show over Sylvan Lake, over the whole city. It's a private boat club, but the show is for everybody in the city. Give us the details. What should people expect?
Well, they should expect a fantastic show, like always. Very organized this year. As we move forward in the years, it becomes easier. We have a great committee. We have a great show. We have special sheriff's patrols out there. We have Sylvan Lake out there patrolling, so everybody's safe. We got EMS on site in case somebody gets sick. It's quite an event. It takes a lot to get it to this point.
At this point in the summer, too, Tim, it gets darker a little bit later. Now that we're past the summer solstice, a little bit earlier each and every day. But it's still quite a while till it's dark enough for the show to begin. You already said it. You mentioned it. Some of those pre-show activities, they're going to start around 6:30. What are some of those that may be open to the community, or at the very least for the many people in the Sylvan Lake area that are members of the boat club?
Well, for the members, we open our gates at 11 o'clock. We have special wristbands and security. We have parking. We also have parking at Gino's restaurant, and there's a shuttle that runs from Gino's to the Oakland County Boat Club. That'll get you down to the city park too. I think they have food trucks down on the beach, down in the park. We supply the porta-johns throughout the city for spectators. At the club, we'll have a band, we'll have food, we'll have a food truck, we'll have plenty of seating for everybody, and we'll have lots of family activities going on.
We have lots of fireworks shows around the community over the 4th of July weekend and the week leading up to that and the days afterward, especially this year as we celebrate 250 years of the United States of America since the Declaration of Independence. It's a huge undertaking to put on the show that your club puts on. Just how much planning goes on behind the scenes to make what's going to be going on July 3rd happen?
We start the year before, believe it or not. We book with Gen X. We put down a big deposit, and we start the planning process of getting the date and the backup date. And then we move into February, our committee, and our yearly meeting now with the City Council of Sylvan Lake to get approval for the event. And then we go into our marketing, the mailers that go out, the flyers, the yard signs, the banners, the sponsors. It's getting better. I have to do a shout out to Mike McPhee, who's been a big, huge, tremendous help, and Chris McLogan for getting the flyers out, Gen X for getting things or Graphic X for getting things printed up for us, yard signs and the flyers and stuff. Yeah, it takes all year to get it to where it is, but it is starting to run a little better nowadays. So.
An historic show at an historic boat club founded in 1912. Tim Harris is the Commodore at the Oakland County Boat Club in Sylvan Lake. Their fireworks show for the 4th of July happening on July 3rd. Activities beginning at 6:30 and the fireworks show beginning at dusk. You mentioned it earlier on, Tim, the safety element of this, consulting with our local fire and other emergency departments, because there's so much fanfare going on this day in the nearby area, certainly around the boat club. So many people want to come out and see this show that happens right over Sylvan Lake. How much of that work, that preparation that your team does in advance of this has to do with the safety element of 4th of July shows?
Well, I mean, once our event's approved by the city usually handles all the safety aspects of the officers and the support that we need. And then also Gen X, they do a lot with the fire marshal and the fire department, and also with the Oakland County Sheriffs to get the patrol boats out there to keep people away from the fireworks barges. That seems to be a big task. But overall on land, it's been pretty calm and just a celebration of everybody being happy, it seems like. I haven't having a problem at the club or in the surrounding areas in a long time. So I'm happy to see that.
You can find more information about the Oakland County Boat Club, including their other summer activities, membership, and the club's extensive history. Their website, oaklandcountyboatclub.org. Their Commodore Tim Harris joins us on the Splash Live as we get ready for one of the biggest fireworks shows for the 4th of July, close to home here in Oakland County, right in the prettiest little city in the state of Michigan. Again, July 3rd, 6:30, the activities begin, and of course, the fireworks show is at dusk. We're celebrating 250 years of our country. The anniversary of the Declaration of Independence is on the holiday proper. Anything else special that went into the planning of this year's event, Tim, because of that very unique anniversary?
Actually, we're going to have like another event on this Saturday, a 250 event. It's not going to have fireworks, but we're going to have entertainment and food and another celebration. We put up a new flag at the club for the 250 year anniversary, and we're looking forward to that, and hopefully get some more people out for next Saturday or for the July 3rd show. I will be looking forward to see a lot of the families and show the kids. We do a lot of things for the kids too. Plenty of ice cream, and food, and games, and entertainment for them. So it's a family event. I like to see that.
And as someone that has been participating in this for a number of years, that's in a leadership position at the boat club, overseeing what is one of the most important days of the year for your club and certainly for the people of the city of Sylvan Lake as well. Is there a certain satisfaction that comes from something that stands out, or to you, what does stand out from this experience, being someone that lives in the area, that participates in the boat club, that gets to see the city come together each summer for this celebration?
Well, yeah, I like to see the whole community come together. We have a lot of guests from the neighborhood and the community that participate in the club events, and it's I'm glad to see they come out, they bring their happy faces, and the law enforcement all seem to be in good demeanor too. It's a great thing to see.
Tim Harris is with us on the Splash Live. The Oakland County Boat Club fireworks happening on Friday, July 3rd. And they'll have activities all the way leading up to when dusk comes by and they start firing off the fireworks show. Anything special with the fireworks this year? Of course, we expect it to be a very beautiful show, colorful, all the different effects that we've seen in years past, but is there any other special little element that people should be waiting for if they're thinking about coming out to Sylvan Lake for this celebration?
Well, we paid an extra $5,000 for a better finale. So a bigger finale for the fireworks itself. Looking forward to seeing that. I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody come together and have a good time. That's the best feeling I can get.
That's what it is all about. Tim, before we let you go, anything else people should know about this for club members, for others in the community that may be coming out to Sylvan Lake, a relatively small community, not a lot of different areas people are going to be able to park, so there's plenty to consider. Anything else that we should know before we get ready for this big celebration next week?
Well, I can't think of much. I think we've covered most of it. Like I said, the parking's always a problem, but we do have a shuttle from Gino's restaurant over to the club, so you can get out and meander about the city there. And then after the fireworks, we got to pick up and deliver back to Gino's. I don't know what else I could put out there for. Maybe bring a chair or a blanket and enjoy the show.
That'll be a fun day to be out there. Hopefully we'll have a beautiful day so that there's plenty of fun to be had beforehand, especially for those with a long weekend starting that Friday celebration. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, and appreciate the work that you're doing to bring the community together as we celebrate Independence Day for America's 250th anniversary. For more information from the Oakland County Boat Club, visit them on oaklandcountyboatclub.org. And from my source, our cable commissioner representing Sylvan Lake, Phil Ross, there will not be street parking. That will not be allowed in the city of Sylvan Lake leading up to this event. There's very limited parking at the community center. There's limited parking, of course, in the city. You can park on your friends and your neighbors' driveways should you be permitted to do so. But parking in the road will be prohibited, and the Sylvan Lake Police Department will be enforcing that on the day of. All the more reason, as Tim said, to explore parking somewhere else that you're permitted to in the nearby area. Maybe consider going over to Gino's in Kegel Harbor on Cass Lake, just beyond Orchard Lake Road, and parking there, taking their shuttle if you want to see the show. Or hey, look, it's a great walk from there too, not very far, and hopefully another beautiful summer day. Once again, oaklandcountyboatclub.org for more information. 6:30 the activities begin, and then the fireworks are happening at dusk. Big changes at the West Bloomfield Fire Department with Chief Greg Flynn retiring after 28 years of service to the community, with 11 of those as chief. And now a new day begins in the West Bloomfield Fire Service. Joining us with his perspective, West Bloomfield Fire Department Chaplain, Pastor Tim Holterlin. Pastor Tim, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this because you've worked closely with Chief Flynn throughout his career at the WBFD, certainly in the many years that he's served as our fire chief. Just how big of a day is this here? How big of a farewell is this for our firefighters, many of whom have spent the bulk of their career with Chief Flynn in many different capacities?
Yeah, that part is true. I've talked to some of the firefighters, and they've said the same sort of thing. There's a whole line of people that have only known Chief Flynn as their chief. So he's been, a chief for a good amount of time, 11 years. And so, he's had his opportunity to really put his stamp on the department and affect a lot of the firefighters and the people in West Bloomfield in general. So, yeah, it's a big day. It's a great day.
And something that stands out to me about Chief Flynn's legacy, the work that he's done, particularly in these 11 years as chief, is bringing a different human element to the job when it comes to working with the firefighter paramedics on the parts of the job that can stress them both in and outside of the workspace, especially the impact on mental health, on counseling, on working through the different rigors that come along with being a firefighter. Just how big of an impact has that effort from Chief Flynn on down throughout the rank and file had on our firefighters and paramedics?
Well, it's had the biggest effect on me as chaplain of the department. Yeah. Because, one thing that he did as chief is that he gave me a lot of opportunities for training. And I remember, can't remember the year exactly, but he and I traveled to Denver, Colorado for this massive conference on suicide awareness. And there were other opportunities that I'd had, and I'd say, hey, I saw this particular conference, but it's out of state. What do you think? And he had no problem at all. Yeah, go ahead. We'll find a way to get you there, get the training that you need. And so that had a huge impact on me. It made me a better chaplain. I had a lot more resources under my belt, a lot of other connections that I've made, people that I can call. So that was really helpful. And he was very open with that in the department and the firefighters that were there, and really started to make that, hey, this is a bigger priority that we need in fire service, and help to make that happen.
Yeah, Chief Flynn also being a huge proponent of the Yellow Rose campaign, which is a national campaign, as you said, for suicide awareness, in particular within our firefighter paramedic communities in greater West Bloomfield and far beyond, but also in the generalized community, because it often is our firefighter paramedics that are responding along with our local police and other emergency responders to those situations where people may be in distress. Pastor Tim, going back to our firefighters and paramedics as they embrace this transition, the good news is it's people that they know that are taking over these leadership positions as the fire chief, with Mark Lowry going up from his previous position as deputy chief, and Blake Belsky becoming the deputy chief from his previous position as the EMS coordinator. All that being said, leadership transitions can be tough, can be an interesting and unique transition for every individual. How has that been for the firefighters as they've consulted with you in these past few weeks, leading up to, as we're recording this show live today, the final day that Chief Flynn serves as chief?
Well, it's not my first time with a transition. I came in with Pastor Jay Wiseman, and he retired, and Chief Flynn became the chief. So there was a period of time when their transition was going on in that first year or two when when Chief Flynn was chief of the department. So, and I was there for that transition and how that was made, and I'll be here for this one. And so there's always some, how do I say, wait and see sort of attitude that's there. There's also some excitement with a new chief, and brings new ideas and new initiatives to the department. So there's a combination of both. There's just this period of change that happens where eventually everybody kind of settles into their position and keeps moving on and keeps supplying the great service to West Bloomfield.
Pastor Tim Holzerlin joins us on the Splash Live, the fire department chaplain here in West Bloomfield, where our West Bloomfield Fire Department serves not only West Bloomfield Township proper, but also the Tri-Cities of Keagle Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake as well. Chaplain, as you're working with our firefighters, and we have a few more minutes left with you, just so that the people understand the role that you can play that you do play in our local fire service and emergency services, how does what you do help our firefighters when they have transitions like this, or they do encounter those tough situations where they're serving the people of our community, in many cases in some of the worst times of their lives?
Well, in terms of transition, I can certainly be a listening ear. And confidentiality is very important to me and what I practice as a chaplain. So that's always available to every firefighter, paramedic that serves. And not only that, for other officers and for the chief himself. So there are times in which, again, people want to come and talk to me about a particular issue, listen, again, ask some questions, give them some things to think about when they're going to move forward in the midst of a transition. The other thing in terms of, again, being there in the say worst periods or worst times or worst calls, that's always a time in which, again, just my presence there, kind of a reassuring person who's got the back of the firefighter, paramedic, and is there to assist in different particular situations. So again, I may take over if there is a grieving family, or if there's someone who saw something that was very traumatic then I can, as a chaplain, be there for that individual. Then the firefighter paramedic can continue the work that they do, and then come back and talk to them if necessary, depending on what the event was. So that's part of my role.
West Bloomfield Fire Department Chaplain Tim Holzerlin joins us on the Splash Live as Fire Chief Greg Flynn heads into his retirement officially as of today, as we are broadcasting this particular live episode of the Splash Live. Pastor Tim, you've had many years that you've worked alongside Chief Flynn. You've mentioned some of the ways that the two of you have consulted over the years to improve your services within the West Bloomfield Fire Department. As Chief Flynn retires from the West Bloomfield Fire Department and moves on to the next chapter of his life, what legacy do you believe that he has left on our local fire department, more importantly, on this community?
Well, I think I knew him when he was a captain. That's when I came, and I knew right away. He was someone who really had a love, a drive for fire service. It had such an attention to detail. I remember a time when he was speaking to all the directors of all the individual assisted living facilities that are in West Bloomfield, and he wanted me to do an opening prayer, or, wanted to tell them about, what I did as chaplain. And he always included so many people in the process and wanted to really show all the resources that were available to people in the community. He was someone who always strove for excellence. And I think that's what made him someone who was not only there for West Bloomfield, but for so many other communities and other chiefs. And, again, with the Yellow Rose campaign, people around the country, going to Lansing, going to Washington, D.C., his impact, not only huge in West Bloomfield, but really had an impact on fire service really around the country. And so that's a great and awesome legacy to have.
Lastly, Pastor Tim, as he does move on into his retirement, he's had such an impact on our community, certainly on our firefighters and our paramedics. We can see pretty clearly, based on the professionalism and the reputation of our fire department, the impact he's had on our firefighters and paramedics, what they have learned over his 11 years as chief and working alongside him since March of 1998 when he began his career at the WBFD for the greater community, both in West Bloomfield and others that are learning about the impact he's had on our community as he heads into retirement. What do you believe is the most important or most significant element of what makes Chief Flynn who he is that people in our community can incorporate and should emulate to make a better world here in Greater West Bloomfield?
He has a joy for people. I mean, plain and simple. He likes being around people. He enjoys the company of other people. He is inclusive of other people. He just has this joy to be around others. And, it's a great quality to have. Not only serving in the position of chief, but also, again, his ability to go into other places and really share his joy and love for people in general. And I think that's, I think it's very evident, obviously, if you spend 2 or 3 minutes with him. And I think it's something that I think people in West Bloomfield have come to know and really enjoy about him, is that he just has that love for the people in the township, for the people in his department, and again, just people in general.
And it's a great lesson to learn. You can tell by the way that he spoke and reflected on his career at the West Bloomfield Township Board meeting, which is available on demand, civiccentertv.com. It was that human element of the job, interacting with people, participating in the community, the things that don't involve being a fire chief that perhaps he was most proud of overall. Pastor Tim, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Glad to have you on. You can follow more from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Join them on Facebook at WB Fire Department to learn even more. Stay tuned on CivicCenterTV.com. Plenty of more coverage as we've continued to reflect on the legacy of Chief Greg Flynn as he heads into retirement. He'd tell you, as we're going to tell you now, look, hey, just because he's shifting gears and doing something different, not going to be the chief anymore, retiring from the fire service close to home, that doesn't mean he's going away. That doesn't mean that it's time to be sad. He has very much made it clear through his actions and through his words as well. This is a time for us to celebrate something different as we continue to celebrate our first responders here in Greater West Bloomfield. Now we head on down the road to the Swamp, where a living legend is about to come home when the Punisher, Brandon Davis Swain, one of the all-time great defensive linemen in MHSAA football history, hosts his annual camp at Lakers Stadium. His dad, Big Brandon, spoke to Civic Center TV's Jake Schaff for a preview.
Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me once again.
Of course, always love hearing about this camp. I was able to attend the Brandon Davis Swain football camp last year, got to talk with Brandon, got to learn more about this program. It's such an amazing thing that you guys put on for the community. What has it meant to you personally to watch this event grow into a community tradition?
You know, it's crazy to see that this is our third year already. And it's evolving, you know, so fast. And we just grateful to be able to be in the position to give back to the community and to the kids. And we want to continue to do that. So the evolution of the camp is amazing. You know, we started this, you know, a couple of years ago. So now this is our third year. So just to see it grow and to be able to continue to give back to the youth in the way while Brandon is still, you know, a student athlete is very profound.
That's right. And we see more and more families, more and more kids throughout the community getting excited for this camp every single year. And as Brandon's father, how proud are you to see him using his platform to give back to the same community that helped to shape him into the athlete that he is now?
You know, we're just so proud of Brandon. You know, the family, the community, the state, you know, we're proud of Brandon and what he's becoming and where he's going. You know, so as a father, you know, just seeing him from little, you know, coming out the womb to where he is now, it's an amazing journey. And that's what it's about. It's about inspiring the next young Brandon, you know, to show that he can do it, right? And that's why we give a free camp. It's free for everyone. We don't have to pay anything. It's about inspiring the next young man or young lady just to go be whatever it is that you want to be in life, you know, and don't let nothing hold you back. Don't let nobody tell you what you can or cannot do. So that's what this is about. And so to see Brandon evolution and to where we at right now, we so proud of him and we love him.
That's right, and I love what you just said, inspiring the next Brandon, whoever that may be, to go through the same journey, go through the same process that he went through all those years ago through West Bloomfield High School. Now, there are many different ways that athletes can give back to their communities. Some do charities, some do football camps like this. What originally inspired your family to create this camp, and what need were you hoping it would fill for young athletes?
So question one, it started with my mother, Renee Davis, years ago. When I was a kid, she gave back to the community a lot, working at Tyndall Recreation Center. So I seen her do it. I seen her giving back and giving her time and giving her efforts, you know, and so she instilled that into her children to do that. So I instilled it into mine, you know, so this is something that we've been doing for a long time as a family. It was more in Detroit area back then where my mama did it. My son, by him coming to West Bloomfield High School, we're just doing it there. But we bring a lot of the kids. Our community comes from Detroit. A lot of people come from Detroit to West Bloomfield to get inspired, and we love it. And what was the second question?
The second question was, what were you hoping it would provide? What need were you hoping it would provide for young athletes?
It's about inspiration, mainly. It's about showing, letting. I have a thing called touch it, taste it, feel it. So if you're able to touch a Brandon, right, or whoever it is that you're looking on TV and looking at, right, you're able to see them and they're in the community and they're active with you, and you feel it and you taste it and you can hug them and he's talking to you. it inspires the youth. I seen it because Brandon was just one of those kids, and I took him around guys that he wanted to be and it inspired him. So we wanted to make sure that we do the same thing. Touch it, feel it, taste it, be around and see the people and be able to touch the people that you want to be or inspire to be.
I love it. Inspiring everybody you see at this camp and gaining those fundamental core values through football or whatever it is that you may want to tackle in the future. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Brandon Davis, the event organizer for the 3rd annual Brandon Davis Swain football camp that is going to be taking place at West Bloomfield High School. That's going to be taking place at West Bloomfield High School on Saturday, June 27th. Now, Brandon, I mean, seeing your son's journey from high school football to the collegiate level, what has that been like in terms of seeing him use his platform and the impact that he's had that's it's continued to grow throughout West Bloomfield?
You know, I think that watching it and seeing it and where he's at right now it's going to get bigger. We just getting started, right? Like, we feel like what we're doing now is a small piece to where we'll be able to grow and to be able to give back and do more. So, you know, even though we've had a huge impact, the impact has been great, we want to make it even bigger because we feel as if the more that we inspire, the more that we able to do for the kids in the community, to be able to show them, the more I'll be able to go and be great and be able to be productive citizens in this community and be able to come back and do the same thing later on. Maybe they'll get inspired to start their own camps, their own nonprofits, their own whatever it is that they want to do to be able to come back and give back later on, because that's what it's about. It's about pouring it into them, to the young man and the young woman, so that they can come back later on and do it too. So that's the impact. We expect for it to be bigger and greater. We want to continue to do this and as we grow, and we want the community to come with us. Everybody from the district, any ideas, we'll take any donations or any ideas, any thoughts to make it bigger so that we can do this every year and provide more.
That's amazing. And yes, we want to see this camp become bigger and better every single year. And working so closely with the campers and their families over the past 3 years, what would you say has been the most rewarding part of those interactions above all else?
It's so many rewarding factors. Just, you know, they're so grateful. You know, the community is so grateful that they see Brandon, a kid that hasn't made it to the NFL yet, that's doing this because this money comes out of his money. People don't know that. Like, Brandon is coming out of his pocket and pays for all of this, you know, and he's still in college. So imagine you're a college student. We all know how expensive college is, and yeah, he has a scholarship, but just imagine a college kid with that kind of heart to say, here, I'm going to write the check, whatever these kids need. So that puts him in a position where it's like he's goated in my eyes as a young man, because most young men don't think like that. Most young men don't care to give back, you know, as far as like when it comes to their finances, right? So, but he has from the beginning, since he graduated from West B, you know, this is something that he wanted to do. So, but when it comes to the kids and seeing their faces and the day of and the impact of the parents, they are so grateful. And we just see it as a tool to inspire them. They so inspired. We get calls from Hilberts telling us that kids are going to West Bloomfield High School and signing up because they came to the Brandon Davis Swain camp. Like, that's the impact.
I mean, that's the ultimate compliment, to know that you're inspiring so many kids, that they want to go to the same school that Brandon went to. And I should mention, West Bloomfield High School has become known for developing some pretty outstanding football talent, not just Brandon, but Matthew Judon, Max Hairston, Donovan Edwards. How does this camp help continue that tradition while also welcoming athletes of every skill level?
So, you know, continue the tradition of the West Bloomfield Laker family, of those guys that you just said, and a multitude of other kids that, you know, we can't name them all, but we know we watching y'all and we love y'all and we see y'all. That tradition is bright. It's it's so delicate, you know, and we want to continue to bring that to the forefront, right? So when a young man or young woman come out to the camp and they see West Bloomfield High School, what the district has to offer them, it's inspiring, right? It's beautiful. You got to come out. Make sure you come out. You know, Saturday, bring the family. We're gonna have Henry Ford Health there to do screen checks for the parents. We're gonna have free food for the kids. Come on out. Like, we want to continue to make it bigger, but that legacy, that football Laker legacy, you know, is very near and dear to our hearts. So we want to continue to make it grow, because this is putting our kids in a position when they graduate to come back and do these things for the community.
That's absolutely right. We want to see this continue to have that impact and for it to continue to grow. Brandon, I'd love to keep talking about this. I got one more question for you before we let things go. As you look ahead, I mean, and you've mentioned this a few times, but what is your ultimate vision, your concrete ultimate vision for the future of the Brandon Davis Swain football camp and the impact that it will continue to have throughout Greater West Bloomfield?
I think the ultimate vision is to be able to serve the district in whatever it needs when it comes to still bringing kids from Detroit area, right, and or wherever district they're at, right, to be able to still funnel them into the community, right, willingly, in the right way, to still give these kids opportunities that they still would not have had. I think that's the ultimate goal. It's about, because West Bloomfield has a culture and the area is so different, and I'm just so engraved in it because my son went through it. It was life-changing, right? So kids that may not live in the district, right, we want to continue. And I know we had a STEAM program. The ultimate goal is to, when Brandon, I believe, makes it to where we can funnel more money and help more, is to be able to help set up a bus system to go get kids in other districts, to bring them to this school, because this changed Brandon's life, right? And we want to continue to change lives. So the ultimate goal, I would have to say, is to continue to do the work, God's work, right, and putting these kids in a position to win ultimately in life.
That's amazing. Can't wait to see all the fun that's to come with this year's football camp and all of the future athletes that it's going to inspire. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Well, thank you guys too. And if you guys have anybody that want to donate still, please give us a call, 586-625-0164 to the BDS Foundation. Please give us a call and come on out. Give me a call. Let's still donate. It all goes to the kids. It's a nonprofit. We just here to help the community and inspire the youth. And I'll see you guys Saturday. Thank you.
BDS91foundation.com, BDS, Brandon Davis Swain, foundation.com for more information on this and other camps in the future. And as Big Brandon had mentioned, those donations, not just monetary, they also will be taking donations of different various items that help with these football camps. It helps, for kids that may need football pads, or just the footballs themselves, may need cones for drills, may need gear for playing the game in their community. All helps to build the future of our athletes here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. They're looking for those donations in addition to monetary donations to help put these camps on close to home here and further out. That's our show, but fear not, all of our programming remains on CivicCenterTV.com on demand and all across our social media. We're on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Everywhere else, you'll find us at Civic Center TV. Big thank you to our entire crew making the magic happen behind the scenes, and here's to you as well for joining us on today's adventure. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Keefe. Live, local, social, this has been The Splash Live.